Sands of Salzaar is an early access game that caught my attention as it seems to be a mix of many genres that I enjoy. It has a mix of strategy, RPG, and a sandbox world to explore. Overall, it looked to be a Mount and Blade game with an art style similar to Banner Saga. It's one thing to borrow elements from other games, but to combine them into a tasty medley is another. Even with the low price point of $14.99 here in the US, is this early access title worth investing in? So you start a new game and you can pick the open world campaign or the custom battles. Most of the talk we're going to be doing here is within the open world campaign. That's where the bulk of the game is. Multiplayer will be coming later in development. Not sure when it's going to happen, but it looks like it should be soon. So when you pick open world, you're given a pretty good cutscene here. There's a lack of much animation for this cutscene, but the artwork is really fantastic, and I think the voice work is solid enough. So you choose your class and you customize your character, and the class will determine your starting stats, skill trees, unique quests, and your starting equipment. You can also use the legend points that you gain from previous playthroughs to add different skill trees, have your start a little bit easier with more resources and money up front. And honestly, there's a wide array of options here. Not only with the classes and customizing that, but also with the way you look too. So many different pieces you can put together. It's really cool, and it goes a long way to make your character look unique. So for this one, I just chose Sentinel, and we're gonna go from there. So regardless of what class you choose, you will start at the Redstone Valley outskirts, and you'll run into a man and women to save them from these monsters called an Ifrit. You'll be fighting one. After you do that and you talk to them, move on with your life, you then go to this caravan and it asks where it would like to take you, and it recommends to start at Redstone Valley, so that's the one I picked. And after this, the world is basically yours to explore and do whatever you want, like a true sandbox. There are short tutorials to explain certain elements here and there as you'll run into them, but basically it's, like I said, a sandbox from here on out. It's important that you have food though, because you'll need that to survive, especially as you get more people in your army. So you can follow the main quest if you want. However, I kind of just went around defeating bandits and just like picking up what I can find and just kind of getting lost in the world for a little bit. So your first encounter in battles will probably be the bandits that you'll find. So basically you just move with the mouse and you click to attack. You use hotkeys to activate certain skills. And the battle system itself is pretty fun, easy to understand. But man, it can get really chaotic during large battles just for how freaking fast everything moves. Even with, like I said, with a lot of units on screen, it can go by really fast. So most of these battles will be open field battles, but there are siege battles as well. Now these will happen when you run into like a bandit camp, or if you're trying to attack an outpost. So basically you need to capture all the sections here, and you can command your units to follow, defend, or attack. My plan is I usually set half of them to follow me and half of them to defend. As you do this, it pauses the game as you initiate command, so I do appreciate that. And there's not a lot of as these are, there's just not a lot of variety in these battles. It seems to just be this standard thing of 4 things to take over. Maybe some of the more important cities and capitals have are much bigger and much more expansive, but I haven't done those yet, so I'm not sure how those will play out. But from the bandit camps and smaller outposts that I have attacked, not too much here. As expected, you'll need more troops to face larger enemies, and you can gain these units from buildings, outposts, events, exploration, and a bunch of other stuff. You can also get some animals from merchants as well, so you can really have a unique army composition going on. And just like Mount and Blade, troops can be transformed into better units once they reach the required level. So you can upgrade them, like I said, Mount and Blade style, and you need money and resources to do it. And it can be pretty expensive, especially when you get to the higher tier units and the more elite units, but it's definitely worth it with the improvements to health, attack, and everything else that comes along with it. And along with the units that you find, you can also recruit some companions if they're unaffiliated with a faction, so if it says in the wild next to them when you find them. But the first thing you need to do is you need to increase your favor with them before they will join. And this can be done by completing a mission for them, giving gifts, or saving them in a battle. Along with your troops, you and your companions will also level up. And leveling up will allow you to use better equipment as well as upgrade and learn some new skills. You can also find teachers to add new skill trees, so it's really expansive what you can do with your character, especially with certain classes. So equipment can be bought as well as being earned from quests and as random loot that you'll find after you defeat some enemies. There's some decent items to find, with more unique ones given from quests that have really high level requirements. The biggest issue I have though with items is durability. There was this magic character in my squad and she was incredibly powerful, one of the best units that I had, and her freaking wand kept breaking because it has incredibly low durability, and honestly it just got annoying and it wasn't fun. And they really should just slow down the durability loss or just get rid of durability entirely. To me, it adds nothing to the game and is just a frustration. The party itself can also level up from legacy points, and these you can find in the wild in certain places, as well as accomplishing certain tasks. So you can gain, this allows you to gain some skills, also to get more troops and companions to join you, as well as many other benefits. I usually just focus on having more companion slots, because from what I understand, this is really the only way to add more companions into your, or the ability to have more companions in your army. There are also exploration missions to find, and these can be done with your whole regiment, yourself, or just your companions. And it's important to note which one will happen, because depending on the exploration mission that you run into will determine what you can are allowed to bring. So I got killed a few times thinking my whole army was going to join me, finding out it was just myself. So definitely a lesson I needed to learn. And these can be one or several floors, and usually when completing these, it offers you a higher reward than what you can find just in the wild, beating random armies. So the music was a bit of a surprise for me. Not that I was surprised that it was good necessarily, but more surprised on the choices of genres here. There's a wide variety on display here, and you can get some pretty relaxing music with jazz, to pretty metal music too. I mean, just listen to this. So outside of the quests and random missions that I was finding, I was overall running out of things to do solo. So I eventually joined a faction, and they were called the Dakn, D-A-K-N. Apologies for the pronunciation. There's no voices within that, like within the gameplay itself, so just guessing here. But anyways, so I started to help my allies and participate more in siege battles, but honestly not much has changed. I was wanting to be in charge of a city or an outpost as I built up my army, but it didn't happen. So it was what it was. Hopefully more is added in the late game to make things a little more interesting. So in order to get a bit of the taste of outpost management, I decided to try out a Sultan. And one thing I found out is that basically how it works is the population that you have and the resources determine what you can ultimately build. And certain sections that you see here can provide unique building chains. You can also build relationships with other factions to gain their troops. So nothing here is too special, but it's a nice solid offering here. So overall, I can recommend it. It's fun exploring the world and building your army Mountain Blade style. The combat is frantic, but it is solid, and there are a good amount of quests to do. Obviously the main quests and the side quests, so there is a good amount to keep you busy if you want that. But the biggest issues I do have is with the item durability. That really needs to be looked into, and there's not much to diversify the gameplay from the mid to the late game. So there is a lot to do in terms of quantity, but just not a lot in terms of diversity, if that makes sense. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching as always. I hope you guys are staying safe, and this is Powerhouse signing off.